All right, so here's what happens when you log in. You get asked two very simple questions. The first one is, how are you feeling today? Okay, I'm feeling awesome. Now, if I say I'm not feeling awesome or good, then it's an immediate cue for my supervisor to come check in. If I'm not feeling confident, the same sort of action can be taken quickly. And it's gamified so that every time I come through this process, I'm picking up points that I can use in my avatar and how I manage my interaction with teammates. So now once I've signed in, this is where I go. I'm feeling awesome and confident. You'll see up here we keep records of everyone's vaccination status so that we know on every program who is in what condition. The agent can build out their own profile that has their own avatar, gives some information that they can share with their peers. They collect badges for achieving certain accomplishments at work, or they could even be gifted and utilized as part of the credit. So I could gift some to my coworkers. I could utilize some of my credit badge to trick out my avatar or drive some of that culture and family that I mentioned is so important to us as a company. So once I've got that set up, I use this Main Street, and you can see what it brings me. There's a notice about critical information that we can push to every desktop in a systematic way and understand who's read and who hasn't. My schedule in terms of what needs to happen during the week, as well as how I've progressed during the year. Anything that I need to do in terms of a survey or an assignment is called out. And you can keep in touch with everything that's going on across Alorica in one place. It also includes all the agents' KPIs, including what they're sort of eligible for bonus and how they're tracking against that. We use things like stack rankings in order to help drive a little bit of friendly competition and award some badges. And here are some areas where you can see coaching that's been delivered to the agent. And like you'll see here, this one has not been acknowledged. So I've got to acknowledge that coaching, and I know that I've got that feedback loop that the agent has consumed. I'll skip ahead to like things like the daily health survey. So this is really helpful, through COVID, and we can, insert any sort of survey that we choose in here. And Alorica Academy. So this is where I go for all of my continued learning. I can sort of set up what it is that I hope to achieve as my next step. And then we have a structured learning program that we take folks through. And as mentioned, you always have Ava, the chat bot, there to help you as well. Okay, so you saw in this dashboard that I was prompted to take my survey because I'm coming out of training. Okay, here's what that feeds. It feeds it's a platform that we've built out in Power BI. This is what we call our Hypercare dashboard. And what it does is it pulls back all of that feedback from the surveys here done on mobile in a platform that we have called CVent that works outside. And it allows us to look at the results. Okay, so this is the top level dashboard. And what it does is it allows us to break down all of that data into actionable insight. So I can see where my NPS trend is, how it's progressed over time. I can filter on the different geos, so I can look at the comparison of geos. I can look at home and office. And this happens to be for so they don't have a North America footprint, so you're only seeing 2. But then you'll see how I can break this down. So I can look at every single site and how are different sites comparing. I can look at every single department that's responsible for some element of the agent's first 90 days and how they're scored. And I can see how we're doing at each milestone of the overall delivery for the client. If I take this off, you'll see over 250,000 surveys, and you can see the results that this has helped us to drive in NPS over time. Our goal is at 75%, and with the exception of North America, we're doing a good job exceeding that. Okay. Now I can drill this down once I look at this at the top line, not just to APAC or home and office, but also according to where an agent is in their journey. So as I mentioned, in our journey maps, we break down the expected outcomes from, in this case, week 1, across everything that needs to happen during that stage of their onboarding. And we're measuring whether or not folks are confident or unconfident with this particular step. And we aggregate that so that we can look at how we act on things at a corporate level. So we may have issues with, our application process. A bunch of folks are telling us it's a little long here, being clear on next steps. So these are, synthesized out of the qualitative component of the survey that tell us where to focus. And then the quantitative survey tells us where we are meeting or not meeting expectation. We use this dashboard as a start point, not just to help our employees at the agent level, like if somebody says they're unconfident, or if I see a certain site is not where they could be, or if I look over here at these corporate sort of findings, and we have that conversation at the ELT, executive leadership team level. But I also use it with clients, and it's a great tool to be transparent with clients around what's working and what's not. And it's led us to discussions around how to improve instructional design and training, how to provide agent assist tools, and how to rethink the way that we communicate the job description and look for talent. And so I could break this down across where were we with week one, where are we with training, where are we with nesting, where are we after the first 30 days. And I don't know how you can operate a business at the scale that we do with as much of a much variability as we have without a very deliberate approach to listening, running big data and machine learning to synthesize, and then building up the team behind it that can take action on these types of findings.